Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
Hello everyone, my name is Andy. I'm the managing consultant for Cybervenger. Today's another deep dive into the 110 controls of the NIST 800-171. These controls help protect controlled unclassified information, things like blueprints and product research, all developed by or for the Department of Defense or other federal departments as well. You need to be following these standards if you're doing any contract work with the federal government. Today's control, if we look down here, is 3.13.5. And what it says is that you need to implement subnetworks for publicly accessible systems components that are physically or logically separated from internal networks. It goes on in the details here to say subnetworks that are physically or logically separated from internal networks are referred to as demilitarized zones. DMZs are typically implemented with a boundary control device, basically a firewall, and technologies that include routers, gateways, virtualization, cloud-based technologies, so on and so forth. So firewalls, we know what those are. We talked about that before. There are other controls that mention that. This is a little bit redundant, so it's trying to really beat that point home, drive it home. Publicly accessible stuff that anyone in the world can access and reach is a potential hack risk, right? It's a security risk. If you have a website and you're hosting your own website and the whole world can reach you, right? That's a little scary. And if that machine is reachable by anywhere, the propensity for it to get compromised is much higher. So if port 80 is open, port 443 is open, whatever the ports are open, they're all attack vectors that someone could exploit. Once they've exploited that and got into that system, if you have that system on the same network as your servers and other things containing controlled unclassified information, now it's at a risk. So what this control says you need to do is implement a DMZ so that if they breach that particular device and get access to it, they're no closer to the controlled unclassified information than it had been trying to sit outside the firewall banging away at it. It's a network that you have that's yours, that you put things on it that's reachable by other people, but that you yourself kind of don't trust. The DMZ is a stepping stone between the public internet, the totally untrusted internet, and your own private network. You can take this philosophy and create other VLANs for other things as well, and you could break that up using switches. You could put your workstations, for example, that are just general workstations that don't access CUI in one VLAN and treat that very harshly in terms of security. You let them get to certain public servers, you let them go out to the internet, and that's it. You can have another set of servers and workstations that are for CUI stuff only, and you can lock that down so nothing can get to them. They can only get to the controlled and classified stuff and make that kind of its own enclave, they call it. And you regard those systems as trusted. You may have to use better encryption. You have to put EDR and manage threat response and all those kind of services on there to really lock it down. And all the other things described about NIST. And that's one section. And then you could break it up otherwise. You should have a public Wi-Fi. So when guests come in, they don't log on to your internal Wi-Fi. I think that was covered in the Wi-Fi section of the NIST specifically. But this control kind of brings that up again. It's very general control. This whole family control is very general and reiterates more specific controls that we discussed previously. And this one just says, hey, you want a DMZ, use a DMZ. It could be summed up in one single sentence. Just use a DMZ for anything that's not containing CUI. That's really basically all it is. It's a very simple concept. But I have run into people, other engineers, good engineers, that you're worrying too much. That's overkill, and it's really not. If you have a publicly accessible device, it's getting pounded at 24 hours a day. It's very difficult to secure that. And if you have public information on it, and only public information on it, that's not so bad. The worst they could do is take it down, and then you got to scramble up and bring it back online. But if you have it in your network and you do what's called a pinhole, so you have a network address translation on the firewall, you have your public address and your internal addresses, and you create a rule that anybody going to this public address at this port the traffic goes to this internal address at this port. Very common thing to do. And it's secure-ish, right? But if you do manage to compromise that server through that NAT, they're on the network. And that's a no-no, according to this control, and quite frankly, it's a very common sense control. This is one of the ones I like. Some of the things in NIST framework are a little bit of security theater. I'm like, yeah, do we really need that? Maybe not. This is definitely, in my opinion, a rubber meets the road kind of control. You want to do this for sure, even if you don't need NIST, if you don't fall into the compliance, you should be doing this. Anyway, that's it for this control. My name's Andy. I hope that was helpful for you, and I hope to see you all in the...
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.